Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel. I'm starting a new series called Let's Get Messy May. So I'm finally going to be doing something in the junk journal that I made earlier out of this little golden book. I'm just doing a really quick flip through, just showing you different pages that I add in here. If you're interested in seeing more, just check out my playlist and you'll see stuff there and how it was put together. But basically for May, I'm going to get messy. And I'm going to post something every Thursday. There's 5 Thursdays in May, so you'll see a new post every Thursday. I bought these little clamps at the Dollar Tree, and they work perfectly for holding your book together. Now, of course, you saw there my page was just a little bit lower than the top, but I put them both on the bottom and it worked fine. Now, this is my underpaper that I've grabbed and I keep. You can tell from all the splotches and splats that it's been there for a while. There's probably not going to be too much on this page because the book pretty much covers it, but I always like to keep it there just to kind of keep things, well, first of all, to reuse the medium, because if you got a lot of splatter, why not put it on something else? You'll see me do that lots of times. And also just to kind of keep the rest of my desk a little bit clean. So the first thing I decided to do is pull out my watercolor paints. Look at, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing on this page. I'm just adding color, and this is usually what I do, and it just kind of warps into something completely different, and this is definitely one of those projects. I haven't worked in my junk journal in a long time. I did have my first junk journal, which had 6 signatures. Again, if you're interested in looking at that, please check out the playlist for junk journal mixed media. And I finished that a while ago, and I worked on this journal and it's been sitting there. So I'm really excited about this series that I'm doing because I'm going to be able to get messy, and this is such a fun thing to do. I don't know why I don't do it more often. So once I did the watercolor paints, you notice I did a little bit of splatter. I got that really cool brush from an art store in San Diego. It's like where people donate things, so you get stuff for really cheap. I'll put a link to that down below because I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I will put a link here down below in the information box, and also a link to my blog, which will also have that information. So once I sprayed that teal spray, you can see it got really splotchy and really seeped through the page. So I decided to dry that first before I started putting the other sprays. Now, I've took these little plastic coated pieces that you're seeing here, the striped ones, off of a planner that my daughter bought but never really used from like years ago. So I use it as a protective sheet because it's laminated in plastic, so it's perfect. So I slipped that in there because I realized that this wet medium is just getting through everything, which would have been okay, but sometimes it's nice to like avoid some of that. So I had done some Cricut cutting in that little rectangle piece that I was trying to use as a stencil. I thought, well, let me do that. And it didn't really do much good. So I just put it to the side, but I'm okay with that too because I got some really beautiful yellow splatter on part of it. So I'm definitely keeping that. You know me, people, I keep everything. So you probably noticed that the spray, especially this teal one, was just a hot mess. I mean, it's so dirty and just seeping out everywhere. So I decided to clean it a little bit with just a cut up t-shirt that I have on my desk. We've been doing a couple of workshops at some local churches in my school district. And so I've been using these sprays or letting people use the spray. So I have a feeling that somebody just didn't really put the lid on tight, which is fine because, hey, it's getting used. I use this little sponge roller to put some white paint over it. Now you can tell this white paint is no longer white because I didn't let any of this stuff dry, but that's kind of my MO. I have no patience. I just like to do. That canvas is one that I keep forever. I've had forever. And I just keep adding my acrylic paint on it. And so it's like a paint palette, if you want to say that. And it just works perfectly. I just slide it in my drawer. So I let that dry overnight, and I put the 2 plastic pieces around it, and then I put something heavy on top because I wanted to flatten it a little bit too because it was really getting warped. So look at how it looks, and I think it's really pretty there, but I also kind of feel like, it's kind of a little bit of a lot of colors that I couldn't figure out what I was going to do with. So I grabbed one of my stencils, this really fun circle one, and I'm just using my fingers and white acrylic paint, just not watered down anything, and just putting it with the stencil. And you can see me doing that here. Again, getting lots of messy. What I'm wearing today is my work clothes, and I don't know why I did that, but once my fingers got painty, I didn't want to change because I knew I was going to get paint on it. So I was really careful not to wipe anything on my pants. I'm sorry, people. I know I'm an adult, but I still wipe things on my pants. But look at how pretty that looks. I love how those colors are seeping through the white, and that little circle design is really fun and quirky. I love this background. Now, you saw me put the stencil in the middle of the book. I'll do that a lot too because there's still paint on that stencil. So if I can get some on another piece of paper, hey, again, I'm using more medium. I'm not wasting it. So I'm going to kind of put that to the side, and I'm going to grab just some random painted papers that I've done before. And usually I'll do this when I have leftover medium. So I must have had some black paint left over at some point. And I just start making little doodles. I wrote the word love multiple times. And this is a white bag that I probably got from purchasing something, who knows where. But those bags, they're kind of thin. But look at that. Isn't that so cute? I'm definitely using that for other projects. So like I said, keeping everything. And you can tell by this little random envelope that I have here. Look I have all these paper strips. I've got all these small pieces that I've been tearing and using. And I love going back through because they're full of color and they're big enough to add somewhere. Why not keep them? Who knows? Maybe one day I'll go through them. But usually when I do hold a class, I'll kind of put all these in there too. So I'm not mad. I do use them. I'll share them. But I also keep them because they're pretty. I'm just using some regular glue stick, and I'm gluing that one little torn piece of the love repeatedly on that paper over there on that left side. And then I'm just digging through, and I see this beautiful doily that I probably spray painted or painted black and purple at one time. No idea when. So I just cut another piece of that really shows the lace part of it, and I tuck that under there. The glue's still a little not dry yet, so it was easy to peel up. And then I'm going to grab that one little rectangle piece of paper that you saw me pull out too, and I think it's kind of floated underneath stuff, which I'm looking for right now. There it is. And I'm just going to grab a pair of scissors, and I'm going to just eyeball it and wonky cut, if that's a word, like a stem of leaves. And you just see me using my scissors, and I'm just cutting, like I said, no pattern, just cutting and see how it turns out. I'm trying to get that stem as thin as possible just because it looks prettier that way. And look at how gorgeous that is with all those different colors. Oh, I love the way that turned out. And I'm just going to, again, use my glue stick to add that right there. Look, isn't that so pretty? Like I mentioned earlier, I am going to do this new series. It's every Thursday in May, and this is May 2024. Not that that matters, but if you're watching it later, you'll know. But so make sure you come back, if not for any other reason than checking out my channel, but also to check out what I'm doing here. I do post 2 videos a week. One is always scrapbooking. That's kind of my first love with paper crafting, which morphed into all things paper, which includes, this junk journal. And, one's always scrapbooking, and the other is whatever I'm creating in the command center, which is the name of my craft room and also my blog. And for this series, again, I'm working on my junk journal. So here's another book page that I painted up, and I drew these little scallops, and I really wanted to use those somewhere. And the funny thing is I don't know if you saw that little tiny one drop off, and you'll see that over on that right side. Kind of there, I'm grabbing it. I end up just using that one little bump right there on that bottom corner. I think the larger one or the longer one was just too much. And so I really like that. Just a little bit of fun right there in that bottom right-hand corner. And people, this is pretty much it. I do use a black, just a gel pen, a regular old pen, fine-tipped, to draw in the leaves a little more. And I try to make those as wonky as possible. I did pull out my black paint pen, but I realized that the nib was a little too thick for what I wanted to do, and that's why I just grabbed this pen. And it's not a whole lot, and you see how I'm kind of just really loosely drawing, almost like a scribble, but not. But I think that just adds a little bit of something. And earlier I did a stamp. It's just a random, like a nondescript script, nondescript script is how I'll say it, stamp that I just kind of lightly put everywhere, which is kind of my go-to when I do my junk journal pages. But like I said, this is it, people. I hope you like it. And if you do, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I hope to see you next Thursday. Happy May. Bye. Thanks for watching.